Welcome back, guys, to another episode of RyotCraft Feed the Beast. I am Clobberstomp, and today we are going to be looking at Power, Industrial Craft 2. That mod has a lot of stuff in it with all of these machines here for generating power for all kinds of various things. There is a Feed the Beast wiki out there for Industrial Craft 2. I will put a link in the description. I encourage you to go take a look at it, as it's got a ton of information, a lot more than I can cover in, a 10 to 30 minute video. So go ahead, take a look at that. I don't remember the URL, but it will be below. So first couple things that we need to take a look at are what are all the wonderful mods that you can do. And there's a lot of machines that you can start with, but one of the first ones is a bat box. And we can make that. So we need some wood, some batteries, and copper cable. So we're going to need some materials here. So we're going to need some tin. Let's take a look. We're going to need some redstone. Looks like we're going to need some rubber, as I am out of cables, so we're going to have to make some. And we're going to need some copper as well. So for those of you that don't know, if you're not familiar with the NEI system, you can type in what you're looking for and click on it, and it'll give you the recipe. If you click on any one of the other items, it'll give you another recipe. If you press the backspace button, it'll take you back to where you were. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of navigating through NEI. It's not enough items, which is very cool. So first thing we need to make is some copper cable. So we could do that relatively easy. We need 3 rubber and 3 copper, and we can make 6 of those. Now I am out of rubber, so I'm going to have to make some more of those, but I don't think we're going to need them. Now the other piece that we need to make is 3 batteries, and those are made like this. You get tin on either side for the tin casing of the battery. You get the wire at the top, and then redstone inside as the power cell. You make 3 of those. There we go, and looks like we need some wood as well. We will get some wood here. And our 3 batteries across the middle. There we go, we have a bat box. And we will place this over here. Never mind all of that stuff, we'll get to that. I've kind of moved along a little bit fast. So that's what a bat box looks like. Now if you right click on it, you'll get the interface. Now this will hold 40,000 EU, and it'll generate 32 EU per tick. And there's different levels of stepping for each particular next level. So this one starts at EU, so every Minecraft tick will generate 32 EU. When you get to the MFE level, kind of jumps up to 128. You can even go up higher than that when you get into MFSUs, which are the next one, which I think are at 512, and even higher than that when you get to fusion and things like that, but that's very, very far away. You need many, many materials. So the first one you want to make is a bat box. Now we've got a bat box here. Now we got to start adding power to it. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe we can power a bat box with an engine. Do we have any engines made? We do not. So let's take a look at what types of engines we have. Now, there's lots of various types of engines. We have redstone engines, Stirling engines, combustion, blue electric, and all these other nifty ones. I typically have been used to using combustion and redstone, but apparently there's a lot of other uses for a lot of these. I've used Stirling as well. I don't remember what all the functions are. Biogas, I believe, runs on different types of fuel, biofuel, but I haven't learned a lot about that, so we're going to have to figure that out. Let's make a Stirling engine and see what we can do. Maybe we can get some power powering up this bat box. So we need some stone gears, some cobblestone, and a piston. So we're going to need some of those. We'll make our gears here. Now, for those of you who don't know how to make a gear, 4 sticks in a circle like that make a gear. Now you can take the gears, you do the same thing with the cobblestone, and you can make stone gears. And you can go to iron gears and diamond gears. You're going to need more as you get into bigger, more interesting machines. So we need stone gears, a piston, glass. Alright. I think I have a piston made already. I do. Look at that. It's good to make extra stuff because you're going to use it. There we go. There we go, Stirling engine. Oop. There we go. Alright, let's place this sucker down and see what we get here. That didn't work the way I expected. Usually when you place an engine next to something that works, it should connect to it. But I believe if we make a wrench, I think I have one already, but I'll show you how to make one. Now there's different types of wrenches, so that's going to matter too. So we need a stone gear and 2 pieces of iron, or 3 pieces of iron, in a Y shape like that. Then you'll make a wrench. Since I already have one, I'm not going to go through the process of making it. Well, I possibly made the wrong engine. It doesn't seem to be able to power that sucker. Alright, let's break that thing down. And let's make a different one. Not quite sure why that doesn't run. I'm gonna have to look that up. Wonder if a combustion engine will work. So we can make the same type of engine, only with iron at the top. Tin. Let's make an electrical engine. See, that won't run unless it's connected to the bat box though, so we need... Let's make a combustion engine. That should be good. Let's see where we get here. Alright, stone. Got the piston. Need a piece of glass. And iron along the top. Those iron gears? Oh, they were. Look at that. So here's an example of the type of gear you need. Oh, wrong way. Let's put that in the middle, and now we got to surround that with iron. There we go. There's our combustion engine. Let's try this one. See if this works. Hmm. That didn't work. Oh, interesting. Well, did I have a redstone? Let's try that one. For some reason, I am drawing a blank here, guys. I don't have a redstone engine, so I guess we'll have to make one. Yeah, it's frustrating. Sorry, guys. Thought I knew what the heck I was doing here. Apparently, I do not. But we'll figure it out. I think I've figured this out here. Let's see if we can get it, guys. Let's get a piston. We're going to need 2 wood gears. Piece of glass. And wood at the top. Alright, let's see if this works now. Doesn't quite work. Let's make a redstone torch and see if we can get this to run. This is really weird. Why can't I get this to work? I'm gonna have to check this out and get back. I am clearly missing something, and I'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, I have figured this out, and I needed to make a generator. I forgot that you need to do that, so let's make a generator. Let's take a look at that. Generator. Alright, so we need an iron furnace, 3 refined iron, and a battery. So let's first make our battery, since we already know how to do that. There's a battery. And we need to make an iron furnace, which you make like this. I've got a couple of these things memorized already, so some of these things you might have to look up, which is no big deal. I always got to look them up. I always forget. And refined iron. Now, you make refined iron by just cooking another stack of iron one more time. For those of you that didn't already know. There we go. Generator. Ooh. Alright, let's take this generator, and we're going to place this right on top of this bat box. And you can't really place it on the back box because it has its own interface, so you have to shift click right on there. There we go. So now we can put things in here and it should generate. There we go. Look at that, guys. So we've got a generator. Fairly easy to make. You can get that with a couple of resources right away. This is going to build up and it's going to start to fill this up with EU. Look at that. So now what we can do when we've got that going is that one, as you can see, I don't know if some of you have noticed, if you look at all the sides of this particular bat box, you only have one side that's got a little, I don't know, neon green light on it. Depends on your texture pack, it might look a little bit different, but it's an output, and that's for your cables, which we already need to make. Since we've only got one, I'm gonna have to make some more. So let's get some rubber going. And oh, I need a tree tap. So when you're working on machines, there's going to be a lot of stuff you need. You're going to need a ton of copper. You're going to need a lot of rubber, which you can make from rubber trees. Now, there's a couple trees out in the wilderness that, if you find them, they always have 2 or 3 leaves sticking up the top. They look very different than the other trees. If you see them, they're very distinct. See this tree here? It's got a couple leaves sticking off the top of it, and all the rubber trees look like that. So if you find those, chop them down, get some close to your base, because chances are you might not have them real close. What you can make next is a tree tap. I'm sorry, a tree tap. All you need is wood in this form here. And you can make a tree tap, and if you right click on these rubber wood trees where these yellow patches are, or left click, nope, right click, I was right, you'll get some rubber to drop. Where did that go? There it is. It'll look like that. Sticky resin. So then we can take this sticky resin and cook it in a furnace, and that will give us rubber. Pretty cool stuff. So as you can see, you go through tree taps pretty quick. When you go through these tree taps, you get a couple of uses out of them, then you got to make another one. So you're going to go through quite a bit of wood working on those. So I'm going to split this in half, and you can get it done a little bit faster. But for the meantime, we'll get started making another basic machine. So we're going to plug that cable right into the outside of that. So now we've got a connection coming out to this. Now, as you can see, it stopped here. We got to keep feeding this generator, so it's not quite automatic. Let's put a couple coal in here. Now, coal looks like you're going to get quite a bit. Now, if you look here, it says can produce. Now, this is going to say 4,000 EU at 10 EU per tick. So this is going to, each piece of coal is going to generate 4,000 EU. So this is going to fill up for each one of these. So this should get this filled with a couple, about 10, approximately 10 coal should fill this whole bat box up to 40,000, which is pretty great. So one of the first machines you're going to want to make is, what do we have here? An extractor. There's a ton of machines, but let's start with a compressor. The first one that you want to make is a compressor. Reason being, when you get out to the nether and things like that, you can compress your items into, if you get a whole ton of, let's say, iron here, you can compress those into iron blocks and things like that. Now, we're using the GregTech pack, as I mentioned before, and if you're using the GregTech pack, that makes everything much harder. Your recipes are much more difficult, and things are just harder to make. So make sure that you're checking your NEI to find out how to make some of the stuff. So right now we're making, everything is much harder for us. So if you're using the GregTech pack, you're going to be able to follow this pretty quickly and follow along right away. So we've already got a compressor, but I'll show you how to make one anyways. Compressor, because we're going to need another one anyway. So looks like you need to make a machine block. We need some stone and electronic circuit. Looks like we make electronic circuits with some iron, some redstone, and some copper cable. So let's work on making circuits. Now, as you're going to find moving forward with a lot of this stuff, is that you're going to be making the same stuff over and over and over again. You're going to make a ton of electronic circuits. You're going to make a ton of machine blocks. So it's probably good practice to make as many as you can right off the bat. So just keep, if you make a ton, trust me, you're going to use them. Whoops. I'm not to that point yet. We need copper. There we go. So now I've got 18 wire. I will use that wire up really quickly. So there's 6 right there. So let's make a bunch of electronic circuits. Make a couple of these circuits like this. Let's make 2 of them. Some redstone on each end, and then some refined iron in the middle. There we go. So we've got our electronic circuit. Let's make our machine block. Now I make a machine block by 8 refined iron. And again, making refined iron, you just cook another stack of regular iron, and it will refine it down. You're going to make a ton of this, so you will go through a lot of iron and copper. Those are your pretty much that and rubber, two of your pretty much most valuable resources at this point. When you're going to be doing industrial craft stuff, you need a lot of each one. So whenever you see it, gather it, gobble it up, because you're going to use it. Alright, let's get our stone, and we're actually going to now make 2 of these compressors. The only reason I'm making 2 is I know that there's some other machines out there that require you making more than one, and I'm going to use this compressor for something else later. So, alright, we're going to place this right next to our cable. Now if you take a look here, we've got our generator that's going to generate EU for us. So as you fill that up with coal or wood or whatever resource you have to generate power, if you look at a lot of these items here, they will generate, if you can see, they generate EU. So EU is the measurement for, I can't remember the acronym, I gotta look it up, what that stands for. But it's a measure of power in Minecraft. There's 2 measures. The BuildCraft one is called MJ. I believe that's Minecraft joules, but EU is in the industrial craft world, so you're going to be using a lot of that. So there we go. Look at, we're just going to continue to generate more and more. It's going to fill this bat box up. Once that gets full, this will stop. This will generate its own power and generate and fill this bar up here. And then the generator will have some power of its own. So when this gets expelled, when I use the compressor, this will automatically spill over into this. Now, there's also different types of cables. We have copper cable, and there's a bunch of different insulated cables. Let's take a look here. These ones down here. So we got copper cable, uninsulated cables, and each one of these will cover a different amount of EU going through each one. Remember we talked about the stepping, the power stepping. We have 32 EU per tick. Standard copper cables will handle that, and I believe they'll still handle it at 128 as well. But when you get to 512, you're going to need probably gold cables or some of these higher insulated cables. That's why I said go out to that website that has all the information on it for the industrial craft too. I don't have all that memorized, unfortunately. There is one that does everything, and that's glass fiber. However, if you take a look, they're kind of expensive. So you need diamonds to make them. But when you get to that point, these do not matter. So this is what you'll pretty much run everything with, so you don't have to worry about any of that stepping. So we've got our generator, which flows into our bat box, runs through the cable, and powers our compressor. Now if you see this little lightning bolt type of thing, looks like we've got power to it. That's what we'll tell you there. So let's put a couple pieces of tin into here and see what happens. Now as you can see, look, this recipe right here is starting to go. Now I know for a fact that if you put 9 of any item, any metal in here, it'll compress it down into a block. So this is going to make a tin block for us. Now if you want to know more recipes that you can do, there we go, we got our tin block. You can click on the recipes, and down here there's 117 combinations. So you can make all kinds of stuff here. If you look, you can make nether brick, so you don't have to find a nether fortress. You can actually just use your nether rack and make nether brick. That's what I used to make the magmatic engines. Magmatic engines take nether brick, and if you get to that point, sometimes it's tough to find that nether fortress for the first time. So you can make ice, and there's 117 other combinations that you're going to learn and know. But anytime you're clicking on any one of those, you can know. So that's our kind of the basics for getting started. Now, if you want to connect another machine, let's see. Let's make a extractor. Let's look that up. So we need an electronic circuit. There's another machine block, an electronic circuit. See how I told you we're going to make a bunch of those. And 4 tree taps. Now, if you noticed, before I showed you where we get all that resin from, we can make some more of these. Now I don't have my wood here. Let's get some wood. Now let's make some tree taps. 2, 3, 4. Now one thing to note when making the extractor, and you make all these tree taps, they need to be perfect. If you use one, it'll use it up a little bit. That's not perfect. It's not fully loaded, fully charged. So if you have any that are charged somewhat, be aware that you will not be able to make your extractor if you do that. So, all right, do we have another machine block? We don't. So let's make another one. There's our machine block, and we need an electronic circuit. So, looks like we've got just enough for cables to make one. You're going to make these a lot. You'll get used to these recipes really fast. There we go. So we can put that on the bottom. There we go. Extractor. Let's take that extractor and put it next to our... So as you notice, this is empty. We don't have any power going to this thing right now. This one does. Reason is, the machine will not transfer power to itself. So a machine that uses power will not transfer power to another. A machine that will expel power, like a bat box or a cable, will. So we need to build another cable so we can connect this extractor. So, oh, I'm out of rubber, aren't I? I am. Alright, let's get some rubber here. I was not prepared on the rubber front, apparently, when going to do this tutorial, so I apologize for that. Got to see a little bit of gathering here. I'll get some of this here. The nice thing about these trees is this hole here where the sticky resin comes out, or sap, some people call it just sap, is every single one of these will generate again over a period of time. I don't know what the period of time is, but they will. So that's why we kind of keep them here. There we go. That should be good. Let's get some of this fired up real quick. Oh, here's another thing. While this is going, since we're in the machine making phase, we're going to make an electric furnace. Because those are even more efficient than the iron furnaces or just a standard furnace. So let's look that up. Electric furnace. There we go. So we need an iron furnace and electronic circuit. Well, looks like we don't have any. We don't have electronic circuits, so we gotta make them. Looks like we're waiting anyways. But we'll make a couple of these. We'll wait for this rubber to finish, and we'll get this going. And we'll make an electronic circuit. An electric furnace. There we go. Alrighty, this is almost finishing up here. Let's start making that. Let's make some more cables. Copper. Alright. Oops. Here we go. 12 copper cables. Let's make an electric furnace. So actually we need to make some circuits. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the final piece, 2 of those. There we go. And the rest of our resin should be finished, so I can make one more cable, I hope. Oh! I'm too short. Let's get a few more. Oh, I do have other rubber. There's another form of rubber tree out there, and it's got a different shape and color. You usually find them in jungles. There it is. So be aware that there's another one out there as well. So there's 2 of them. Alright, we got 6 more cables. So let's make this electric furnace. So we need a iron furnace, which we already have one of. So let's break one of these down. Iron furnace. We need 2 redstone and cable. Oh, not a cable. Circuit. Electric furnace. There we go, guys. All right. So here's those other cables. Now, if you watch, right now we have no power to this extractor. If we put a cable down and fill it up, look at that. Fills it up right away. And you can see the generator needed to fire off another generation because it pulled some of the power out of the bat box, which then told the generator, oh, I have available power that needs to be filled. I'm going to use up some coal because I have it in there. There you go. The other cool thing that you can do is you can put them on top. So there's our electric furnace. There we go. It's got power. So if we need, let's see if we get some more. I'm sure we got some more to process. Oh, we do. Let's just take a couple pieces here. Yeah, let's take the whole stack. Here we go. So here's your basic setup. We're going to get this going here. Let's plug that in. There we go. Look at it's processing. As you can see, the generator's going. It's pulling. It's generating a bunch of power. That power is being taken up by the bat box, which is then traveling through the cables to run each of these machines. Now, if you look, the really cool thing is we can run all these machines at the same time. So we've got a compressor running, we've got the electric furnace running, and if I was to put some sticky resin in here, I could make some more rubber. I don't remember what all the recipes are. Oh, a rubber tree sapling. Let's find one. Let's find a rubber tree sapling. I think I have one. I guess maybe I don't. Bummer. But anyways, we could run all these machines at the same time, running off this generator and bat box combo. So that's pretty cool. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this setup. This is kind of the start of the basic machines. And this is kind of wrap up this episode. Slap that like button if you liked the tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions or anything that you want to see in the future. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.